I want to congratulate the Government and the Minister for Social Protection, Joan Burton, for bringing this bill before the House. And before I begin, I would like to preface my words by saying that fraud doesn't always just happen in the social welfare system. Fraud is at large in the country in general, and I seem to think myself. Most reasonable people would consider that if this piece of amended legislation did nothing other than give legal effect to the restoration of the minimum wage rate from $7.55 to $8.55, then it is certainly worthwhile. Most reasonable people would consider that the shameful act perpetrated last year by the previous government of cutting the lowest paid workers' pay was their final act in a line of similar races to the bottom. A cut in the minimum wage a few weeks before Christmas 2010, to say the least, was reminiscent of the Dickinson era. Employers could now use this opportunity to squeeze the lowest paid workers in the state by slashing their wages, in effect becoming a shabby form of exploitation. And to add insult to injury, the official line that was used at the time was, "We have to try and ensure a competitive economy." The prevailing question on everybody's mind is, has the 11% cut on the minimum wage implemented last year really proven beneficial to those businesses teetering on the brink of bankruptcy? The previous government found out quite rapidly that our economy could not be fixed on the basis of cutting the wages of the poorest workers. The positive effects of today's bill will be a huge boost for low-paid families, in particular part-time workers, including a disproportionate amount of women. It will also boost the morale of non-unionised workers and young people. Equally, it will show how foolish the cosy captains of some of our employers' associations were in claiming at the time that cutting the poorest workers' wages would be good for Ireland. On reading the proposed amendments, one is struck by the extent of the difficulties faced by the Minister arising from the EU-IMF deal. It illustrates how much of a challenge she is facing from the effect of the legacy deal. Her room for manoeuvre is quite limited. However, I welcome the stimulus measures included to encourage employment in the Jobs Initiative. In particular, I am referring to the halving of the employer PRSI and the National Training Fund levy. I too recognise the integrity of our national social welfare scheme. It depends on fairness in its allocations to those in our society who have been hit by hard times, as much as it depends on its management of scarce resources to prevent fraud. As the net contributor of funds, the taxpayer is demanding the best possible stewardship of its contributions, so that scarce resources can go to those who merit them. In this regard, I welcome the inclusion of the stronger measures to extend to social welfare inspectorates. I compliment the Minister for concentrating our minds and our efforts on her revamping of the National Internship Scheme. All job seekers in the private, public, community and voluntary sectors may gain invaluable benefits from their placements. Internship provides, as a mentoring scheme, the opportunity for a student to be paired with a professional who will act as their counsel, their teacher in aiding their advancement in the working arena. Internship experience completes an essential element of their course of study, adds practical experience to their academic knowledge. Ceann Comhairle, I would like to compliment the Minister, Joan Burton, and assure her of my willingness to work with her in her efforts to reform our social welfare system in a manner that includes jobs and fairness at its cornerstone. We, as a Labour Party, but firstly as a government, need to prescribe to the ethos of a people at work. And as the Minister has stated, we need to emphasise the value of work and the value of opportunity. and I firmly believe that this programme will provide that opportunity, and I welcome it as a much welcome change to the paralysis of the last government. Thank you.